welcome back to another video where we discuss U.S. immigration law in a way hopefully that you can understand it. And there have been a lot of news articles circulating around U.S. green card holders or U.S. permanent residents who have been traveling to the United States after extended travel abroad, and then they were subject to losing their U.S. green cards or U.S. permanent residency status due to their extended travel abroad and not handling that travel correctly. So in this video, we're going to be talking about how to plan your travel outside of the United States if you are a U.S. green card holder or a U.S. permanent resident. And typically this applies to those who will be gone for more than a year outside of the United States. I typically advise people that travel extensively, maybe 6 months or more a year, that you should probably consider this as well, and obtain what is called a re-entry permit to preserve your immigration status and to notify the authorities that you do plan on staying outside of the United States for extended periods of time for a legitimate purpose. You still need to maintain your ties to the U.S. when you do this. So having a re-entry permit isn't this get out of jail free card, but it does inform the authorities that you will be staying outside the United States for an extended period of time. So what is a re-entry permit? Well, it's a document, it looks a lot like a passport, that the U.S. government issues to lawful permanent residents who stay outside of the United States or plan on staying out of the United States for extended periods of time, and it's typically valid for up to 2 years at a time. And this helps you preserve your green card status for extended travel. And this potentially can help preserve your green card without you abandoning it. If you abandon your green card or you're outside more than a year, you did not have a re-entry permit, then you could be looking at what is called a returning resident visa or SB1 visa. We're not going to talk about that visa in this video, but if you get yourself in that situation, it could be even more difficult to re-enter the United States. And in that situation, you may be facing the loss of your green card. So who needs a re-entry permit? Well, you should really consider a re-entry permit if you will be outside of this United States for 1 year or more. And again, like I said previously, I would even consider it if it's 6 months or more, just to protect yourself. Or you travel frequently abroad for long periods of time. Again, long periods, in my opinion, is 6 months or more. And you want to avoid any potential complications re-entering the United States due to your extended travel outside of the United States. And to file for a re-entry permit, you have to file what is called USCIS Form I-131 with USCIS, and this can be done directly with USCIS. Now, it's very important that you understand how to file Form I-131. You must be physically present inside the United States when this is filed. Well, how is that defined? Well, that means you must physically be here, you must submit it to USCIS, and USCIS must officially acknowledge receipt before you depart the United States. That means USCIS has to issue that receipt notice proving that they took your funds and they're now processing your case before you travel. If you travel before USCIS receives your application for a re-entry permit, it will be denied. So very important to understand, you must be physically present when filed and have a proof of receipt before leaving the United States. So we often advise people that need a re-entry permit to stay, file, wait till you know that USCIS has received that application, and then you would be comfortable to travel and obtain proof that you are physically here. Have something, a stamp in your passport, a valid I-94, make a purchase while you're in the United States, proof of accommodations, whatever it is to show that you were physically present when this thing was receipted, or else it will be denied. Very important to understand. Now, once you travel outside of the once it's receipted in, you're free to travel. Now, you will have to return to perform what is called a biometrics notice, unless they waive it. Sometimes they do. If you have previously obtained a visa or have recent biometrics on file, they could waive that biometrics requirement. Otherwise, you will have to return to the United States, and it's typically a month or 2 months after you file to perform biometrics. Or else, again, if you fail to perform the biometrics, it could be denied. And As far as delivery, after you've completed the process, after you've filed it properly, after you've completed your biometrics, you can have USCIS deliver the reentry permit one of two ways. One, to a U.S. address. Important to understand, they will not send your reentry permit to a foreign address. So do not use a foreign address for your mailing address. It must be a U.S. address. Or you can have it sent for pickup at select U.S. consulates abroad. And you need to verify with that consulate before you select it as a form of delivery that they do, in fact, allow for the pickup of reentry permits. So you have those two options. The safest, in my opinion, send it to a U.S. address, maybe a friend or relative, family, your address preferably, that is located next to that USCIS field office where you will be performing your biometrics anyway. And a reentry permit typically takes 3 to 6 months to process or more. It just depends on government processing. So before you leave the United States, make sure USCIS receives that reentry permit application. Once it's received, then you are free to travel. Now, a few things to keep in mind. The reentry permit does not guarantee reentry to the United States. However, it does facilitate reentry after extended periods abroad as long as you don't abandon your residency. Well, what does that mean? Well, you need to maintain ties to the United States even though you're gone and you have a reentry permit. Maintain your bank account, maintain your residence, maintain whatever it is that you have in the United States to prove that although you've been gone for an extended period of time, that you did preserve your permanent residency in the United States, along with that reentry permit. Then after extended periods of travel abroad, then you should be allowed reentry to the United States.